Are you a self-storage owner or operator looking for service providers to help at your facility? Well, the Storage Business Owners Alliance, also known as the SBOA, has you covered. The SBOA is a premier online hub for connecting self-storage owners and operators to industry-leading products and service providers. We provide one-stop shopping for your business with exclusive offers to save time and money. At the SBOA, we believe by coming together, we help owners and operators grow revenue, gain purchasing power, reduce expenses, improve efficiencies, and increase profitability. We also offer many resources such as our conferences and self-storage unlock webinars to help self-storage owners and operators gain the knowledge needed to become more competitive in the industry. To become an SBOA member or to find out more information, please visit www.thesboa.com today. We can't wait for you to join the Alliance.
Are you an SBOA VIP member that's attending the 2025 ISS World Expo in Las Vegas? Well, get ready. We're reaching for the stars. That's right. Join us for the best party in Vegas at the Strat, where self-storage meets the stars. Enjoy a night of great company, delicious cuisine, and breathtaking views. After the show, Thursday, April 24th. Not a VIP member yet? Sign up now. But hurry, seating is limited. Special thanks to our sponsors, SBOA Insurance Services and CSSI. Gifts provided by Mercantile Systems, Inc. And included with your ticket, free passes for the Extreme and Big Shot rides on top of the Strat. Remember, you won't need a rocket to reach these stars, but you will need an SBOA VIP membership to get your exclusive invitation. Sign up today at www.thesboa.com/membership. See you at the Strat, where self-storage meets the stars. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Self-Storage Unlocked webinar, sponsored by SBOA Insurance Services. I'm Iris Czygan, president of the SBOA, also known as the Storage Business Owners Alliance. And today, I'm very excited to dive into our conversation with DaVinci Solutions and 10 Federal Storage. We're going to discuss the real-world impact of automation and technology in self-storage operations, with Geoff Hayth, president of DaVinci Solutions, and Jack Sparks, vice president of operations at 10 Federal Storage. And they're going to share how 10 Federal leverages DaVinci to streamline operations, boost revenue, and have added an impressive additional earnings of $1,000 per facility every month. But before we dive in, I want to go through a couple of housekeeping items with everybody. Today, throughout our session, please drop your questions in the chat. I see some of you are already active in there saying good morning. This is your chance to get those questions answered live from our experts. For some reason, if your question does not get an answer or you'd like more information, we will be sending all of our registrants a link for the replay. You'll get it probably Monday, and you'll also get all of our panelists' contact information. Speaking of the chat, we are also going to be running a few polls throughout the session today. We want to gather your feedback. It helps us improve our webinars, and your participation is so valuable. We're adding a little extra incentive and giving away a $20 Starbucks gift card today at the end of the show to the person who answers the most polls and asks the most questions during the webinar. So get your questions ready, throw them in there. We want to hear from you. And without further ado, I'm going to bring up our first guest, Geoff Hayth. Hi, Geoff. How are you today?
Hey, Iris. I'm doing great.
That's great. Please tell everyone about you, about a little bit about DaVinci Solutions and what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. So Geoff Hayth, president of DaVinci Solutions, also known as DaVinci Lock. My background is in self-storage operations. I spent 10 plus years as an operator in REIT land before transitioning over to the product space, running DaVinci Lock. We have a number of products that we feel like help complement storage operations and drive revenue, and happy to talk more about that here in the conversation with Jack in a moment.
Great. And I know you guys have some really cool new products you've rolled out this year, and we're excited to hear more about that too. So you mentioned Jack. I'm going to go ahead and bring him up. Hey, Jack, how are you?
Good, Iris. How are you?
Great. You want to tell us a little bit about you and 10 Federal?
Sure. I'm Jack Sparks. I'm the VP of Operations here in Raleigh. I also am from REIT land with public storage for many years down in South Florida, and now operate our 90 plus facilities for 10 Federal.
Excellent. So, Geoff, do you want me to go ahead and bring your presentation up?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let's jump right in. And I know Christy's in the back. She's going to handle those slides for us. I'll let you get started.
Cool. Just to get started, for those that are unfamiliar, DaVinci Solutions is originally a spinoff from 10 Federal. So I think it's safe to say that Jack and I know each other pretty well. For better or worse, Jack, you tell me.
Mostly better.
There we go. I'll take it. That's a win for the day. Just to start, I think, I'll just start with the elephant in the room. 10 Federal is known as one of the earlier, or maybe the earliest adopter of unmanned or automated self-storage. How does that work, Jack? Is it true? Do you run all your stores without people?
Actually, unmanned is a misnomer. They're very much manned. And, what we do is we have the best people in the storage business that operate our facilities. So that's really our secret sauce. They're just not there every day.
It's great.
Where are they, Jack?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
We operate our facilities currently with about 0.6 per facility. That includes everyone that's here at our corporate office, as well as, our techs that are out in the field.
Got it. What does that look like as far as like people to the distribution between people at you're here, the store, like the support center versus people in the field in the stores?
Sure. So, we have our ops team that's here, our regional directors, our account management team. And then, the techs out in the field can operate anywhere from 1 to, 10, properties, depending on the size, the distance, of each of the locations.
Got it.
I mean, they are the most critical, Jeff. I say this to everybody that asks me about it. The most important people that work at 10 Federal are actually the techs out in the field. And I know that's a big issue with people when they talk about unmanned. These facilities still have people that work at them. And the critical piece is actually who is out there in the field operating them. And, we spend a lot of time, money, effort on those folks that work out there at our locations.
So it sounds like just even you double down while there's less people, there's maybe even a greater emphasis on the quality of people and their responsibilities. Does that sound right?
It is. I mean, we take all of our experience that we received as REIT operators, and we use that level to operate, what is, normally smaller facilities.
Got it. And you said normally smaller facilities. Is there an exception to that? One of the things I hear about is like, yeah, that's great, but it works only in some stores. Is that your opinion too? As someone that's run stores, you mentioned public stores before.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at public storage, I, operated 2,500 unit, monsters. But yeah, I mean, we have facilities that are 1,000, unit facilities. You can take our model and operate it at any size. It's not, a one-stop shop. You can do it at any size facility. it's just how you do it is different. You look at each one individually and how you operate it. But, our model works really anywhere. It's just, how you approach it and, the type of, people and processes that you put in place to operate it.
Interesting. On the challenge side, what are some of the unique challenges of running your stores this way?
It's just what you have to focus on, and your priorities are different. For the people that operate with someone, in an office, they're more focused on coaching that person on sales and, getting insurance and, selling merchandise. And, we're more focused on our business and doing things that we know matter. And, whether it's doing virtual remixes, flipping units, and in all honesty, I was thinking about this last night. I can almost guarantee that we watch our properties more than people that have somebody sitting in an office. With the state-of-the-art AI cameras that we use, to the security specialist that we have that works overnight, that monitors our facilities, and not just monitors for people that are going to do something wrong, but we actually audit our properties at night, where our techs in the field are getting sent AI generated reports that tell them that, hey, this gate may be malfunctioning, or you have abandoned goods on your property, or someone may be staying at the property and loitering. So I'm actually auditing our properties more than even a REIT level facility is.
That's an interesting point. It's like one of those, you took an opportunity or maybe a challenge to running a store like this and said, hey, like, there's not eyes on the property in the same way as you might have traditionally during business hours. And so you have to maybe invest a little bit more in the technology you need to run the store. But by way of doing that, all of a sudden now you've got an enhanced level of security to the property where, Jack, how often did you watch cameras day to day without something prompting it as an operations leader for public storage, say?
Zero.
Right. That was my experience too on the different side of land. So that's a great point. I think, that's definitely one of the things that I would hear often about, as a criticism or concern from an operator starting in an unmanned or automated operational model. Let's say it's a more efficient model. Is some of the complexities in the day to day. I think from an owner perspective, the number one thing you have to be concerned about is what's going to happen with my rentals. And so just talk to me a little bit about where you guys see rental activity happening. How confident do you feel that you're not losing opportunities? And what are some of the things that you're doing to help ensure that?
Yeah, you have to have a really good website. You start there. Your tenant base now is much younger, and it's, they're renting on their phones, and, you have to be able to drive people to your website. We're very data driven in what we do. So, we do look at facts and what's really happening in our world. And, we back it up with that. We've had really good 2024 and a really good 2025 that show that, what we're doing to drive people through SEO to our website is working. And you have to create a great customer experience. And, having an office, to be honest, is not always creating a great customer experience. And, I learned that from, the years I spent, at Public Storage. You can be fooled into thinking that person in your office is renting you a space. And in all honesty, I learned that a lot of times they're talking people out of rentals, and they're talking people out of insurance. And they're probably doing the right things maybe while you're there. And then, you know as well as anybody, once you leave, all of that coaching maybe went out the window. And, we find ways to funnel people into renting and having an experience the way that we want them to do it. And we use DaVinci in a lot of ways to do that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was secret shopping a store a couple weeks back, and there was 3 signs on the front, like having to do with like the manager may not be here, text me here, manager's away, call me here. And then the lights were off. The door was unlocked. I go in, and there's this giant room, and there was a person there behind the desk. They didn't get up, and that was my first impression. And you can expect the rest of it to kind of be similar. Not to say that every in-store experience is that way. It's just there's a level of inconsistency to it that you might get. They might not get if you were to streamline it into more of a technology-oriented experience. Before we dive into, you mentioned the DaVinci piece. Before we dive into that, what's your opinion? So, like, if you take the manager out and you're optimizing around a personless experience for people, what's your feeling on kiosks versus other alternative solutions? Like, where do you lean as an operator?
Oh, I am wholeheartedly in on using a QR code and having the tenant self-serve through that process. It has been such a win for us to go that route. And it's a cost savings. I mean, when we take over a property and, you build out an office, you're looking at, anywhere from $20,000 to $35,000, build out an office. You're going to spend, say $7,000, $8,000 to put on a kiosk, not to mention the software costs behind that and the maintenance over time. Or you can use the QR code technology, and we now put in a drive-up rental center that looks fantastic, that is low cost. Tenant can self-serve. It's dynamic with GPS to the local area, so it knows what property the customer is at. Tenant can rent a space in under 60 seconds. It's really a game changer, and it's geared towards their new customer. And, it's just, us evolving to where our customer is right now. And there's a lot of people that are, let's face it, our industry is decades old, and they don't like to change. And they're stuck in their ways, and they kind of want to do it, but they don't. And then, like, everybody dips their toe in. Everybody, our industry is the biggest dip their toe in. They don't want to swim I've ever seen. And this is just another thing. Like, they kind of want to do it, and let me try the QR code, but I don't want all the other things, or let me try one piece of Tenant Connect, or let me try. And they just need to do it. Like, this is the future. It's what the Gen, Zers are going to do. And I just love it. It's been phenomenal for us, and we have data that proves it, and it's working. We're not afraid to show our results. We've taken the risk for you, right? I always like to tell stories and give analogies, even of my past. When I was in the restaurant business, Jeff, we, at Panera Bread, when it first started, we could have spent marketing money to figure out where to put those Panera Breads. But what we did is wait for Starbucks to open. And then we went in that shopping center. All right. We let them spend the money and take the risk. And then we were very successful. Well, I've already taken the risk for the self-storage industry. All right, go ahead and put Tenant Connect in, and put a tech fee in, and you'll win.
That's great, and I love the stories. Always sign me up for more.
That's awesome. I do have a quick question. Given Jack, you mentioned change and all of that. What do you think is the biggest misconception operators have about automation? Why are they just resistant to change in general, or do you think they have some big misconception? They're worried something's going to go wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, every time I talk to an owner, first they think Daisy in the office is the reason that people rent there. And they think that unmanned really means no one's going to be there anymore. So what I always tell them is, first of all, your people aren't as good as you think they are. And I know because I had a property by default at Public Storage that got shut down by the city when we were turning it into a kiosk property. And when it got shut down, it ended up being my number one performing property. And it opened my eyes by accident that my people were losing me rentals.
Wow.
And then, the other part is I have the best people in our industry. And I'm not saying that there aren't other great people out there. There are. I mean, Public Storage and Extra Space, they have some really good people, believe me. But I went out and I took the best of the best, and they work for me. I mean, I have Mike Kolick. I can go on down a list. I have Dan and Sylvie, and like we went out and got them on purpose because they are high level REIT performing people. Our techs in the field are paid way more than most other people that work in the field. They have their own trucks. They're well taken care of people, but their performance is what makes our properties run so well. But what these owners don't understand is we can operate them at a Public Storage and an Extra Space level without having all that payroll in there. And I mean, Jeff, we talk about it. I mean, in our industry, is anything I'm saying magic? Like, we all have the same information.
Right.
It's you have to be willing to take it and do it. We take the payroll aspect out of it. Right now, as we speak, there's 3,000 people sitting in an office on Netflix. Okay, that's what's happening. That's what reality is of these properties that have managers in there. There's only so much they can do every day. All right, and if I can run every single property, self-storage property in the United States without someone sitting in the office. I mean, that's just a fact. If you let me put DaVinci locks in, not because DaVinci and 10 Federal have a relationship, it's because of the process. If you put DaVinci lock in and let me have QR code technology with DaVinci Tenant Connect, there's not one property in the United States I can't operate because someone doesn't need to be there all the time.
Jeff, how much are you paying Jack?
Not enough. Look, Jack does this on his own. He's just, you let him go, he's going to keep going.
Well, I mean,
It's great information.
I mean, Tenant Connect is the evolution of and the creation of us solving problems, because like during COVID, right, the storage industry boomed, and when everybody was patting themselves on the back, we were questioning ourselves. Like we didn't think what we were doing was good enough. And what's happening now is everyone's getting exposed, and that's what you're seeing with the results, because we were innovating and changing, if you stand on what you were doing 5 years ago, you're going to struggle right now because it's changing. And really, that's the difference between 10 Federal and a REIT. The REITs are really good at innovation. They're really smart people that work there. They're just slow to implement. At 10 Federal, we're really good at innovation too. It's just I live in Disney World where they let me actually do it.
Jack, I want to double click on something that came up a couple different times, but to kind of point out one of the really, I think, important decisions we made as we thought through Tenant Connect as a self-service platform for tenants. You mentioned QR code, and QR code is an alternative to like a mobile app.
Mm-hmm.
And in the industry, there's several mobile app options for tenant-facing services or my account management and that kind of thing. from your perspective, why is QR code the way to go with a non-app mobile app, still web app, but non-mobile app? Why is that the way to go versus a traditional mobile app?
Well, it's really an easy, short answer because people don't want to download an app.
Mhm.
I mean, you're not going to get them to do it. I mean, I remember at Public Storage when we first had that initiative come out, it was like pulling teeth. Like, you're not going to get people to do it. So, having that web base, it's a no brainer. Everybody knows how to do it. Even now we just unleashed the GOAT out in our, the new gate system, which maybe we can talk about. And we had zero pushback because everybody knows what to do already. It's already in our society now that they're going to go up and scan it, and it opens the gate immediately. So people don't want to be forced to do something like that, to download an app and go through a whole process like that to use your functionality. I mean, just think about it, Jeff. You have to understand, I'm old, right? So, but I do have the ability to think like a young person, because in my mind, when I look in the mirror, I'm still 20. And
I wish I had that good problem.
Me too.
like they want it now. They want it. Everything has to be fast, including renting, right? Space has to be fast. Opening the gate has to be fast. They're not going to take the time to download your app. They're going to scan it. They want to scan the QR code and they open the gates.
Yeah, that was certainly our thought as well as we looked closer at like mobile app adoption within the space. I know people put different levels of resources and processes behind it, but I think there's a wide range of what adoption looks like. But for the most part, consistently, you see people in like the 10% or so range of like mobile app adoption, which means if you hide services or features behind that, only 10%, 20% at most probably are going to receive those. So it didn't make sense, right? If there even was any benefit past, like from a technology perspective, what you could even do, it just doesn't make sense if you're only talking to a very small subset of your customer base.
Right.
You brought up the GOAT, which is great. It's on the slide here. For those unfamiliar, the GOAT is a device that you can add to an existing system to run in parallel, or it can run on its own to automate gate access at a facility. Jack, why don't you share a little bit from a 10 Federal perspective? Like, why are you interested in the GOAT and why you rolled them at your properties?
Because it saves my investors money and it's a great customer experience. I mean, when we take over properties and we put in our old gate system, we flop it out, it's costing $7,500. I can put this in for around $1,000. I mean, it's a game changer. And, even if we go to third-party managed, I mean, it's a different conversation for somebody, to sign up to have that. But, and then for a customer experience, to be able to drive up, it's a contactless, scan a QR code, recognize their phone number and open the gate, to a tenant, especially a younger tenant, like, I hate to say it, Jeff, but it makes you pretty cool to make that magic happen. And I've actually heard that from tenants, like you're cool. I'll put it to you a different way too. Somebody asked about, like, how do we make people feel like the property is secure without somebody there? And this was one of the things that came up, was our technology actually makes customers feel confident that our properties are very secure. Obviously, we use a very high-end AI-driven security camera system, but things like this, like using the GOAT, really, perception is reality. You can only do so much at storage facilities, right? Put gates in, put cameras in. We have overnight security monitoring. But this is a part of our package that really, really resonates with our tenants.
Yeah, I could just speaking to like the DaVinci side, as we looked at reasons that our customers were getting calls to their call center or to the office, one of the, besides payments, the number two thing for us was access, right? Whether primarily with the gate. And so at the time, we didn't have a solution for that. Unit access, we felt pretty good about with DaVinci Lock, which we'll talk about in a sec. But the thing that we recognized was like people don't remember their codes, and so they're having to like request them. And usually there's not a great way to like pull that other than to talk to somebody, which costs you money as an operator and isn't a great experience to have to call, wait, talk to someone. We heard from operators that like a lot of times these customers are being pushed like a slower queue than sales, which makes sense from a priorities for the operator, but not so much for the customer. And so that was part of the thought behind the Go was like, well, if codes are the problem, just like anything else, why don't we just do the same thing that people are doing elsewhere, which are QR codes? And so it's worked very, very well. You can see on the sign there on the slide that we've also built in a text to open feature as well. So like if for some reason your store is in a certain area where your demographics might range a little bit older and QR codes still aren't quite the thing for them, we have found that texting works very, very well. Despite like some of the, like I know I get texts from my grandmother, she's 97, and they might not be 100% like what you'd expect from other people, but they come through okay. So she's using it. And that's the same for the text open with the Go.
Yeah, you're right about the calls. I mean, the data from our call center at one point, I believe it was almost 1/4 of the calls were about, I forgot my gate code.
Yeah. And I mean, the awesome thing about that is like you just made the tenants, you just solved the problem for a tenant. And for these new customers, they don't have that problem anymore. So you've reduced the conflicts for a tenant at your properties. So hopefully they have a better experience.
Right.
And then if they do, they have a platform there to request a code or bypass it altogether. So I think it's a real win. Shifting gears a little bit away from Tenant Connect and the GOAT, let's talk about DaVinci Lock. So for those that aren't familiar, DaVinci Lock is a mechanical lock not capable of electronic communication, but that's tied to an unlock code that's stored in our software platform. And then we automate the communication of the access code to the tenants based on certain trigger events like renting a unit or paying your delinquent bill. So Jack, talk to me about what 10 Federal's doing or has been doing for some time with DaVinci Lock specifically that might be different than what others have been doing or might know us for.
I think the main, we use it for the full process. So I think the main difference is we don't overlock units. And this has come up recently with a group that some other owners that we meet quarterly. And just recently they started emailing each other about, just talk about things that we innovate and do differently. And they were like, hey, we stopped overlocking. And I'm laughing like, we haven't done that in years. And it came up that in public storage, Chef, we had huge properties, and I just dreaded, on the 6th, we would waste so much time and labor, and our office would be shut down. And I know we're missing, people, and we're pushing this cart around the property, putting all these locks on. And were we really doing any good? Like, was it like who in 1970 at Public Storage came up with the idea that we were gonna get them. We were gonna keep them from skipping out on us. Like, who did this research? Was there really research done, or did somebody in a boardroom come up with this idea that we were gonna stop them because they were gonna get in here because they hadn't paid and take their stuff? And I wasn't a believer. Like, I just thought this was wasted labor. So we tested it, believe it or not, we really did test it. And so we took a group of properties and we said, all right, we're still going to lock them out the gate, but till the 20th of the month, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to overlock their units. So how many people do you think tailgated through the gate took their lock off, took their stuff out, moved out, and skipped out on us.
I'm going to guess it's a very low number.
Right. 0. Okay. I mean, we tested it at 10 properties for 3 months. Not one person. Okay. I mean, first of all, when you talk about delinquent tenants, do you know what we call our delinquent tenants?
Your best customers?
Our best customers. They're the only people that pay me more than I ask them to.
You love those late fees.
Right. So, quit treating them like they're felons. They're not. They're your best customers. All right. Second of all, you're wasting all your labor and time by overlocking them. If you use DaVinci the right way, what you'll do is already have a DaVinci log on to start with. And then what you do is when you go to put them on Lock or Fox or whatever you use for your auction process, you're going to just flip it to another DaVinci. So now the tenant doesn't know the code. And when they do pay you, plus their late fee and their lien fee and whatever other fee you charge, they get the new DaVinci code. It's that seamless. It's that flawless. It's very simple and it's very efficient.
That's great. I think that knowing that you're using the lock on every unit and that you have this process for delinquency. One thing I want to ask before we transition is what happens if they actually go through with an auction and you sell their stuff to a buyer? What does that process look like? No, you don't have a person there.
Right. Well, we solved for that too, and actually that ended up getting into Tenant Connect as well. So, I will take a hit at DaVinci. I will go ahead and say this, Jeff, so everyone doesn't think this is a DaVinci
infomercial,
late night infomercial, right? Wait, but there's more. So, because every time I come up with a great idea, somehow 2 years later, DaVinci's charging me for it. So, we started to think about the auction process, and my auction buyers. Well, they're our customers as well, and we're trying to always, find ways to make the experience better. And so for our auction buyers, it gets to the point where they've won the unit, they've paid us. They now can self-serve too. So they have the 48 hours to clear out the unit. Our QR code is by every unit. They can scan the QR code through Tenant Connect. It prompts them to take a picture of the unit they've cleaned out. It sends back to us, which prompts a work order to be created, and we automatically then give them their deposit back. So it's a pretty seamless process, and the feedback from our auction customers has been fantastic. And it's been a huge win for us. The auction, it makes auction winners want to do business with 10 Federal now, which is great. Makes it very easy for them. We have the amount of abandoned goods left and issues with auction customers now has decreased dramatically. And once again, I'm not here to be your salesperson for you, but Tenant Connect pays for itself. In all honesty, what other product I pay for? I can't think of anything that, the monthly fee that we pay, I actually, because of our tenant tech fee, I get like 10 times my money back for it. So, I'm saying, I pay my owners, our investors get 10 times their money back for DaVinci. That's
the perfect segue.
Anybody doesn't do it.
That's the perfect segue. I think that's the point. If I were to think of the theme of the year or what's most important for a lot of operators right now is think through knowing there's some headwinds on rates and we feel like maybe there's some stability coming, but just knowing that there's a lot that you can't control within that right now. It's about, peeking around the corner. What are the things you can do to help drive value and revenue to the property? So talk a little bit about, so like the investment in the technology platform, using DaVinci Lock, Tenant Connect, Go, and try to add value to the tenant has allowed you to start charging what you call a lock tech fee, and what we're helping to help transition tenant operators to. Talk to us about your learnings implementing the lock tech fee and how you're doing it.
Yeah, we call it a smart tech fee, and we have several different ways that we roll it out. So we take over a new property, we send that out, in the welcome letter. So we tend to not want to poke the bear multiple times, so we let them know in the notice that it's coming. Ours is $5.99 at most all of our properties.
Did you start at $5.99, Jack?
We do start at $5.99. We do have a third party we manage for that has it at $7.99 as well. And in all honesty, when I say there has been zero pushback, there's been zero pushback. I mean, people do not even blink at it. And I mean, there's metrics we looked at, obviously, because you're trying to see if it's affecting your business at all. And this was also, we don't charge an admin fee. And we were big believers in that, but this was our way to circumvent that. So when, we look at our data, and you look at our average lifespan of a tenant, we actually, because of our tenant tech fee, we generate more revenue than an Extra Space or a Public with their admin fee, because, of a tenant staying longer, and this being a monthly recurring fee. But they don't even blink at this. But anyway, what do we look at? Well, we're looking at, is it affecting move-ins? Is it causing move-outs? Are we getting bad Google reviews? Are we having, increased calls to the call center? Or people are abandoning their carts? Well, the answer is in the data, and no. I mean, I'm up at our comp properties double-digit in move-ins in 2025. And in 2024, we had double-digit NOI growth in 2024 and in 2025. I just told you my March results just came in. Our quarterly results just came in. You can see I have a smile on my face. Be happy to share it with anybody that wants to know. And our comp prop, so I'm saying we've already done the research for people. If you're not doing that, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, it added in March at our portfolio $60,000 in revenue because I added a fee. Okay. Like, it's no work. I mean, I can show you, if you have storage, I can click a few buttons and show you how to do it. It's a no-brainer for us. Like I said, if you're doing an admin fee, there are some other companies that have done this that are big players in the industry. They've actually done both. We're not going to do that, but you could do both, and they've been successful at it.
I've been trying to convince Jack to try the admin fee, but I think the higher technology fee, I think, does speak for itself. This is something that I was initially a naysayer on. The additional fees past what we already have in the industry, I felt like, why not make it rent if it's justifiable? But I'm happy to say that I was wrong. The tests really proved themselves. Is like, if you're not going to lose rental activity, conversion rates, and you can charge this additional fee, and in the customer it's not directly related to the rent, that's a success. And goes to show you, other industries already did this. They proved it works, and it works here.
Correct.
So
Right.
that's correct.
I have a question about that for Jack, and Geoff, you probably know too. But so if you're charging every customer that fee, then do you have to make sure that that's added in your advertised price?
You mean like online?
Yeah.
It's not. It's only at checkout.
Okay.
So it's not advertised on the page where you're seeing rates for the unit, but it is advertised before you make your purchasing decision.
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, because I know I've heard Scott Zucker mention those kind of things a couple of times when we talk about leases. I do want to bring up Jeremy's question real quick while we have a pause. He said, how do you respond to tenants who might be concerned that you have access to their unit with a combo lock?
Yeah, I mean, we actually have had almost no questions about that from tenants. I mean, Geoff, have you had people give you feedback on that?
So not from tenants. It's been a concern from some operators that were worried about the risk with their store personnel, especially people that were looking to use this system in conjunction with like a traditional operational model where they have people there often. We solved this on our way by we created what we call the high caller 2.0. It's a way for us to send the lock in the unlock position with the code pre-scrambled. And so you can literally like lock the unit without ever having access to the unlock code. And so it's just a setting in our system where if you check that, all the unlock codes are now encrypted and not visible within DaVinci Lock. And so quite literally your field personnel do not have access to the unit. Now they can go in and they can request it. And we've got some settings there to decide like, when and how you want to provide them with access. But for instance, if you have it toggled on and it's lock cut time, then you would simply request lock cut. It sends a notification to whoever the designated supervisor of the facility is, so they know, hey, that lock's been compromised. And we just we encourage people to treat it like a lock cut. It's like if you have access to the lock now, just throw it away and put a new lock on there, just like you would have if you had to cut the lock literally.
So not everyone has access to it. You can put it in charge of a supervisor or manager or someone like that. It's not just everyone in the store can access that code.
Yeah, and then it's also visible within the system. When it's been, I call it compromised. If anyone within your organization, anyone has seen the unlock code. And at that point, I'd say like it's a bad lock, right? If that's how you want to treat it from a philosophy perspective. And so, yeah, I think that's a really good solution for people that are worried about that for their stores.
That's awesome. You guys you've covered every little aspect.
We're trying our best.
I love that.
And I think there's still a lot to figure out. Jack, I think like just to the point of the lock tech fee, I think with the kind of gains you're seeing on the revenue side, and then I think the level of satisfaction for your tenants that you're improving upon and continuing to iterate on by providing these services and in these results, I think speak for themselves. It's a very compelling argument. You had mentioned that you guys had implemented the tech fee. Just as one thing that we're doing on our side for those that are interested is that we're actually doing that for our customers. So if you're looking to transition or try this out, we're happy to work with you to implement the tech fee. So it's hands off for you, white glove service on our side. There's a different way that we have to kind of do it depending on which facility management software platform you're on. So just reach out to us. If you're interested in that, please let us know. We're also offering 10 free locks per facility for anybody that's attending this webinar. So scan the code and we'll get you guys enrolled and figure out how to work that out for you. By the way, also just as a plug, I think we're going to transition to like ISS next week. Iris's team, you guys are doing free headshots at the show. Is that right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Headshot was really good. It came up on the screen a second ago. So I have something to figure out. I gotta work on myself. I think it probably comes with some like time spent before the headshot itself, but I'm excited to do that.
That's great. Well, we look forward to having you at the booth and visiting us. I see you have all your information right there. You're at booth 221. 10 Federal. Does 10 Federal have a booth, Jack?
No booth for 10 Federal, but Andrew Capanos, president at 10 Federal, is going to do a speaking engagement on, I think, the first day there on Wednesday at 9 a.m. So check that out.
Great. Jeremy had one more question. And he said, do you still allow tenants to use their own lock if they want to? It's a good question.
Jack, that's you.
Yep, we sure do. They can have their own lock, and in some cases, they do use both. They'll use ours and can put their own lock onto.
And so even then, so when you charge a technology fee, is that mostly is that just for the gate, and then you charge another fee if they're using the DaVinci lock, or is that included in that fee?
It's all inclusive for DaVinci Lock, for Tenant Connects. It's all inclusive.
So even if they bring their own lock, they're still going to be paying that fee.
They are.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they benefit from a highly secure lock,
Right.
and fully automated system.
Yeah, exactly. And Jack has already said, he gets feedback from people saying, this is cool. I can see, I don't have to worry about keys, codes, downloading an app, any of that. I'd pay extra for that. I don't ever have to worry about it. I get a new phone. I don't have to worry about my apps not switching over and all of that. The convenience alone is worth it. And I think when people can see that value, as opposed to just saying an admin fee, when they know you're going to have admin no matter what, but they can see the value in the technology, then I can see why you would get less pushback for that.
No doubt. Admin fee can be a little bit of a sticker shock at checkout too.
Right. Exactly. Well, we have had a very quiet audience today. I think they have just been engrossed in your conversation. And definitely, I want to go back a slide and just remind everyone 10 free locks. So make sure you download this QR code. Use the QR code today. We've been talking about QR codes for the whole hour. Make sure you use this one. Get those 10 free locks. Try it out. See what you think and let us know. We want to hear more about it. Thank you, Jack and Jeff. I almost got it wrong.
Geoff?
Jeff, yes.
I respond to anything as long as it's kind of pointed towards me.
I'm really happy that you guys came in today. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. And I'm going to bring Aaliyah up. I think it's going to be really easy for her to announce our winner for the Starbucks gift card today. I'll see you guys at ISS next week. Thank you again for joining us and sharing all of this great information. And we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
And we have Aaliyah. How are you, Aaliyah?
Doing awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to Geoff and thank you to Jack for joining us today and telling us all about the GOAT. I honestly really enjoyed that. There are so many different ways that you can put that in a marketing spin. So really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Even down to the name, they have it
Honestly.
so well. So
Exactly.
we have a very clear-cut winner today.
Pretty easy. I am, of course, with a drum roll, going to say Jeremy. So please reach out. I put another banner here. Send an email to Mari at the SBOA with subject line SSU winner and get your Starbucks card. Thank you for interacting.
Yeah, Jeremy, make sure that you do, again, email Mari at thesboa.com. Use subject line SSU winner, and she will send that gift card right over to you. Thank you again for asking questions. Those were great questions, too, and very relevant to our conversation today. And
Right.
so, Aaliyah, I'm going to ask you to talk about everything we have going on in the next week. There's a lot.
There's a lot. I mean, where do I start? Where do I start? I'll start with first and foremost, we're going to be introducing our newest member, not my dog here, not Simba, unfortunately for you guys, but our marketing assistant, Michaela, is going to be taking some really awesome headshots at our show and at our booth 346. There are specific hours, so I'm going to send you guys a link here in the chat to get all of the specifics on hours and stuff. You want to make sure you come by our booth if you're coming to Vegas. You guys are going to love her. She's awesome. I'm putting it in the chat here. You'll be able to get a synopsis on everything as well, so don't freak out. You don't have to take notes or anything. On top of our headshots, of course, sponsored by...
I do want to add one more thing in. To get those headshots, you need to sign up and become a VIP member. So make sure that you go in, sign up, become a member today. We have a half off promo code. I think Aaliyah is going to put that in the chat too. So
Yes,
go in. Our memberships, I'll put up another slide just for that. I think we have one. Maybe we don't. Our membership half off. There it is. ISS half off VIP. So yeah. That's $50. It's normally $100, and that's for the whole year. And what's great about that is starting May 1st, that's when our next webinar is. Our webinars will be 90 minutes long instead of 60 minutes. But you only get that extra 30 minutes if you are a VIP member. So when we have the legal chat with Scott Zucker, when we have a chat like today, if you have more questions you want to ask off of the live camera, we can get those questions in that extra 30 minutes. We will do deeper dives. Our next webinar, since we're talking about that, look at the lineup we have here. We've got Lou Barnholt from Universal, Sarah Beth from Universal, Erica Campbell from SBOA Insurance Services, Shannon Charbonneau from XPS Solutions, Holly Fiorello, the Field Marketing Director over at Storable. If you don't think we don't have 90 minutes of things to talk about,
you're mistaken.
Huge lineup. It's going to be busy. We're going to have a lot to discuss. So you're not going to want to miss any of it. And those won't be in the recordings you see on YouTube. You will only get that extra 30 minutes if you are there live, and you will only get that extra 30 minutes if you are a VIP member. So I'm going to back up again. Here we'll put the link in the chat for that too. And you'll also get it in the follow-up email that has the replay and the contact information for today's webinar. And then we'll digress back to the show next week. We will be at 46, and now we tell them everything else about the booth.
Again, like so much to talk about, so I'll try to be quick. But SBOA Services is being kind enough and generous enough to sponsor a drawing for $2,500, a Visa gift card. Really simple instruction here, guys. You're going to want to head to the link I'm going to put in our chat again here. You're just going to fill out the form, wait for a representative to reach out to you and to get some more final details. And after you submit a full form that we need from you, you'll be in the running. $2,500, and you do not need to wait until ISS. You can visit the link here that is up on our screen, and I will put it into our chat as well for those who are watching live. And really quick, guys, really simple. You're not going to want to not do it. It's really simple, really easy. So don't miss out on a chance for $2,500. That'll be announced after ISS. So you will still have time if you need to do it in person. You want to just come say hi, you can. Come meet the insurance services team.
Meet the team, get your questions answered there. There's no obligation to buy. It's just submitting a request for a quote. And that enters you into that drawing for $2,500. Get your headshot from Michaela. And you also may win a ticket for our special dinner with the stars of self-storage. I can't talk today. So we have this fantastic dinner. You might have seen the video at the beginning. We're going to play it again before we leave today, talking about all the things. So we have basically our own floor set up at the Strat, 1,000 feet up above Las Vegas with the greatest views from, I think we have about 3 hours there. So you'll be able to actually also go on the rides. Yeah. And this again is another benefit of being a VIP member. Only VIP members are getting this invitation. So if you can, we still have a very few tickets left. I'm surprised it hasn't sold out already. But go in today, sign up, use that promo code, get your VIP membership, and you will get an invitation. That does not guarantee your seat, though. Seating, is limited, and your RSV is required. So you have to go in, become a member, and then register. Also, I do want to let you know that half off membership is only for annual membership. It does not count for the monthly memberships. So in addition to a great dinner, steak, salmon, mac and cheese, wonderful views, wonderful networking. When we say you're meeting the stars of self-storage, you're really going to see some great stars there, including the whole team from CSSI, and we have Mercantile Systems, Inc. They are the people responsible for our mystery shopping. Geoff mentioned mystery shopping earlier. They also do internal audits. They provide all the gifts, and we just ordered the gifts yesterday. There are going to be some really fun ones in there. We're going to have trivia. But for you adrenaline junkies, there are rides at the Strat. You see that pole up there at the top of the building? There is what is it called? The something drop, I think. The big drop.
Yeah.
Big drop takes you up there and just drops you down. I don't think I'll be doing that, Aaliyah.
I won't be doing that one, but maybe the other one. We've got one
The
that
other-
goes around the top of that tower. I'll go on that one. So if you guys need a friend, I'll join for that.
Yeah.
I will not be dropped.
So make sure you get that VIP membership. That will get you an invitation for dinner. It's going to get you the headshots at the booth. It's also going to get you those extra 30 minutes at our webinars. And I think we have two more things to talk about today. Very quickly, at the end of next week, Friday, Nate Trone, the Senior Manager of Business Development over at SBOA Insurance Services, and myself will be at the Toy Storage Nation Las Vegas Executive Workshop. That goes from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., and it is at the Caesars Forum. We're going to have a field trip. It's going to include lunch, cocktails, the whole bit. And if you're interested in toy storage, that workshop is phenomenal. SBOA and SBOA Insurance Services are definitely proud to sponsor this event. And we strongly encourage, lots of people are doing a mixture of storage and toy storage, right, Aaliyah? So, if you've got some extra parking out there, get some money out of it. We're talking about how to make extra revenue today from everything from lock fees to late fees. Use that parking lot. Why bother having empty parking spaces when you could be getting really good revenue there? And then we have the last thing we want to talk about. I'll let you talk about it, Aaliyah, because this is your first magazine that you have put out.
Yes, it is. The spring issue of the Self Storage Unlocked magazine is ready. It was so fun to put together. It's really chock full of industry insights, updates, and blogs, articles, all the like from our verified service providers. So you don't want to miss it. It's really easy to sign up. You can just go to www.thesboa.com/magazine and get started there. I'll put the link for everybody here into the chat. And
if you missed it, there's another QR code in there for half off of membership. So there's no excuse for you not to become a VIP member this week. Get half off. You're going to definitely, dinner is about $100 per person. So if you're getting a VIP membership for $50, it's going to pay for at least one dinner. And we're going to do this again in September. We do 3 of these big parties a year. The last one was in Orlando about a month ago. We had dinner with the sharks at SeaWorld. It was a great time. We try to provide some really unbelievable, fun experiences for everybody. And with that, Aaliyah, I don't think we left anything else out. We have a winner, Jeremy. We talked about the magazine membership. So I'm going to go ahead and take us out today with just a quick video that will talk even more about our dinner next week. So make sure you get that VIP membership.
Thank you, guys.
Are you an SBOA VIP member that's attending the 2025 ISS World Expo in Las Vegas? Well, get ready. We're reaching for the stars. That's right. Join us for the best party in Vegas at the Strat, where self-storage meets the stars. Enjoy a night of great company, delicious cuisine, and breathtaking views. After the show, Thursday, April 24th. Not a VIP member yet? Sign up now. But hurry, seating is limited. Special thanks to our sponsors, SBOA Insurance Services and CSSI. Gifts provided by Mercantile Systems, Inc. And included with your ticket, free passes for the Extreme and Big Shot rides on top of the Strat. Remember, you won't need a rocket to reach these stars, but you will need an SBOA VIP membership to get your exclusive invitation. Sign up today at www.thesboa.com/membership. See you at the Strat, where self-storage meets the stars.